So I told you this is not the way I would actually do this. So what I'm going to do is actually go ahead and maybe, I probably would, oh, come on, there we go, let's delete this stuff, yes to all. So I would probably still work in halves. So we could still go ahead and do our mirror operation, mirror this face across the front plane, but then that's where the similarities stop. I would do go to the front plane maybe and draw a sketch, perhaps a oval, and we can use our little view menu here to look normal to our plane. Then I could draw perfect oval, something like that. I could then do a insert curve projected, select this sketch, select a surface, and by default it's going to go perpendicular to the sketch and just project straight onto my surface, which is perfectly good. And then I can trim my surface back if I want to. So surfaces, trim surface, trim tool will be this curve, and we'll keep this part. Click OK. Now we have a surface that has been trimmed back. Now let's go to our right view and draw a sketch. This time it will be a spline. Now I want for this sketch to pierce this curve right here. Now here's the funny thing about the spline tool in SolidWorks. Now it is buggy as hell. I'll just go ahead and tell you that right now. The spline tool tangency is buggy. But if I select this straight line and this curve, I can tell it to be tangent. And that will now force this curve to be tangent to this line. You will find that this will break on you from time to time, and good luck when it comes time to fixing it. You can fix it, but it will just be, well, kind of annoying. Anyway, I'm just going to draw this out arbitrarily to how I think I want the side of my carafe to be shaped. Click OK. And now I want to do another sketch, and this one's going to be a 3D sketch. We haven't done 3D sketches yet in SolidWorks, I don't think. Basically, a 3D sketch allows us to make 3D curves that aren't on a plane. So I'm going to click 3D sketch, and now I'm going to click on the spline tool, and now I can just click on this point, click this point, and click that point. When I'm done, I can hit Escape. And it says that it is fully defined, but it's not really. I can actually define it further. So if I select this sketch and I select that edge, then I can make those two tangent. I can do the same thing here. Select this and select that and make them tangent. And now this point has obviously gotten all screwed up on us, so we can adjust that as necessary. In fact, let's just go ahead and say that that needs to be tangent with a different curve. So I'm going to select a line on this point, and as you can see here, our it's trying to sketch a line on this plane by default, the ZY plane, not on this plane, which is what I want. But if I rotate my view so that I'm looking straight this direction, then it's intelligent enough to figure out that that's what I wanted to draw. So I just rotated my view. Now I can click that item, make it a construction line. I can click this curve and that construction line and make them tangent. Now that should not over-constrain me, but it is doing that. And like I said, this is buggy. It doesn't always work the way that you would expect it to. So what I'm going to have to do is select this curve, and instead I'm going to manually drag these handles on either side to get them to where I can see this middle curve is pretty good. And now this isn't symmetrical, so what I'm going to have to do is down here I can say reset all handles and relax spline, and that'll give me a nice relaxed symmetrical spline. And then if I want to, I can adjust either side of these as necessary. And you can see that this changes a number right here. It says 44.7 something right there. And then this one I'm adjusting the same way, and you can see the number right here changes. So just adjust these however I want, relax it. Looks pretty good. It's not perfectly symmetrical because, like I said, this point is 40 point something for the tangency, and this one is 45 point something. So if I select this, and I can drag it close, so they're close to the same. We could get them symmetrical. Oops. We could get them symmetrical by mirroring what we're doing instead of working as a whole, but this will work for us for now. It's good enough. So what we'll use to do this is right up here we have filled surface. So if I click filled surface, I can select a boundary, which will be this curve, and another boundary, that curve. You can see it puts a nice little filled surface between there. I can use a constraint curve, which will be this one, to make this nice and smooth right there. And I want for this edge right here, I want it to be nice and tangent across. So down here I can select this curve, which is this outer curve, and I can, down here where it says contact, I can change that to tangent or curvature. In this case I'm going to select curvature and click OK. Now we have a surface that fits perfectly in there. It's nice and controllable, and it's nice and curvature continuous. And we can see that it's a little bit sharper than I think I might like, so I can always go back to my original, see if I can find that original sketch where I did my projection to do my cut. So if we go back here. Now, it took me a moment to figure that out. This is another funny thing about SolidWorks. It is not always easy to find the geometry that you're looking for. So in this case, we have this filled surface, and in that filled surface we used this curve, and that curve was absorbed into the fill surface, and absorbed into that curve is the original sketch. So for some reason it got buried way in there, and I really am not crazy about the way SolidWorks does that, but it works. So now I can just make that wider in order to adjust what this surface looks like, and that's way too wide. So I can just keep going and kind of really just define it however I want. Make it as, I can be as picky with it as I feel like. And once I feel like I have a decent surface, then I can go and knit everything together. And we can go back and do the things that we did in the last video in terms of thickening the final surface. But this should give us a pretty clean surface. Now I can see here that this actually isn't totally clean because the highlight here is showing me. So I can actually turn on an analysis tool to take a look at that. We can turn on, under Tools, sorry, it's under View, Display, Zebra Stripes. I can look at my zebra stripes and see if these things are continuous, and they're definitely not. So I'm going to have to take this surface fill that I did and make sure that oh, this somehow didn't get changed to curvature like I intended. And that should be better. It's still not fantastic curvature, but it's something. So, but that's the basics of how I might make something like this in SolidWorks. To turn off zebra, I can go back here and uncheck zebra. And there we have our carafe.